Hey guys, I'm sure none of you could have predicted my last video would have ended on a cliffhanger, but considering this journey began and ended in two different waves, it made sense to not only split this into two different videos that were both ready at once, but also explain an additional hiccup that made this run so difficult for me, and why it was also a battle of mental health. First of all, Part 1 was uploaded yesterday, and provides more context. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to watch that video first. Secondly, standard Nuzlocke rules are still in effect, which are listed in the description, but here they are anyway. Rule number 1. Each game must be played on the hardest playable mode. In this instance, it's going to be on critical mode. Rule number 2. The run officially begins under one of the following conditions. Either when the prompt appears in the game saying, when your HP reaches 0, it's game over, or if no such prompt appears in that game, then the run begins following the end of the tutorial and/or completing the first world, depending on which game it is. In this instance, the prompt that appears saying when your HP reaches 0, the game is over, that prompt appears on day 3 when Roxas is entering the Station of Serenity. Therefore, the run will begin from that point. Rule number 3. Anytime the main playable character dies and is unable to proceed via story reasons, then the run is automatically over. There are some run enders that are not as obvious, such as gummy ship deaths, which I do count as a game over. I hope this would never happen, but losing at any of the Atlantica musicals would also count as a game over. Essentially, if it brings you to the title screen and there's no way to get back into the game without hitting continue or load game, it's a run ender. So just be on the lookout for that. Exceptions include being saved by Mickey, Coliseum tournaments, and any losses that do not bring you to the title screen, those are all fine. Rule number 4. The Nuzlocke is completed upon finishing the main story. For Aqua challenges, which will be coming up shortly on a later video, the final episode, not the secret episode, must also be completed. And rule number 5. Anything that can be nicknamed must be nicknamed. I also play with early save clause, which means at any point before the run officially begins on an attempt after the first attempt, if I die at any time after the run officially begins, I can continue on a later attempt from any save point prior to the run officially beginning, essentially which allows me to skip annoying tutorials and whatnot. As I said, these rules are listed in the description. Thirdly, after my untimely demise during Attempt 11, I did one more stream, briefly Nuzlocking Terra's story for Birth by Sleep, with the intention of eventually going back to Kingdom Hearts 2. But during the week, once the stream was over, I started door dashing and experienced some horrifying trauma, as some of you may know, and it really pushed me back emotionally and mentally. I ended up going to the emergency room the next morning after experiencing what felt like early signs of a heart attack. Now, while the doctors were unable to pinpoint what exactly was wrong with me, I knew it was a mental breakdown of sorts that was directly caused by this traumatic experience. Thankfully, DoorDash sent me an email saying the customer involved would be blacklisted from my deliveries and that I would never get orders from that person again. And they also explained to me that they had my back, and if I wanted to press charges, they would defend me. That really made me feel a little bit better after a bad situation. All of this led me to permanently postpone my weekly streams, as dealing with this trauma was far more important. As it happens, this was for the better. At the time, I was desperately trying to get through this Nuzlocke so that I could have content to post on YouTube in hopes that I could eventually have a better status to get monetized, and that in lies was my problem. You see, I was trying so hard to make money that I didn't really care about much else. So not only was I put in a position to emotionally heal, but I also had time to reconsider why I was on YouTube in the first place. So as you're seeing these attempts, 12 and onward, my attitude during live streams were very different. Instead of trying to make money, like I was all the way through Attempt 11, I decided to just have fun. Maybe this channel will never be monetized. Am I okay with that? Am I prepared to upload content just because I enjoy it? If not, then how is this any different than some random 9-to-5 job that I hate going to? Anyway, I took some time to evaluate where I went wrong in Attempt 11, how I can prevent future close calls, and see if I can fine-tune some of the other problems. I even spent a couple hours watching speedrunners to see how they easily get through some of the harder fights at lower levels on critical mode. All of this led me to realize that this run was not only possible, but that I could enjoy myself throughout the entire run. And that is where Part 2 continues. After a rather embarrassing end to Attempt 12, I continued my journey through the first visits to each of the traditional Disney worlds, eventually making my way all the way to Oogie Boogie, where I set up shop in hopes of catapulting myself into the mid-game. Unfortunately, things go sideways the second I trigger a drive form and immediately go into anti-form. In this situation, I am all but helpless and a sitting duck, as it is a one-shot for me to die from the Heartless, which they do and puts an abrupt end to Attempt 13. For Attempt 14, I hustle through the prologue, taking care of business against the Twilight Thorn, Axel 1, and Axel 2. I defeat the Nobodies at Hollow Bastion, Shan Yu at the Land of Dragons, and name my newly acquired gummy ship blueprints Karibo, Dud, Multiply, Mystical Elf, and Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress, number 1. And then I escape Hades' wrath with my life, but not before he ambushes me with his loyal three-headed dog Cerberus, which I take down with the help of everyone's favorite Final Fantasy X Guardian, Auron. During my journey to Hades' chamber though, despite manipulating the fighting to steal an early puzzle piece, the Ghost Heartless snipes me immediately, punishing my work and hastily ending Attempt 14.
Oh, did not see that one coming. I almost died there last run too. I should just stop trying to grind in that spot. It happens.
The next few attempts involves some very advanced strategies that involves mashing the X button, and in some instances, the triangle. Attempt 15 fails because I geniusly used Valor Form during the Land of Dragons boot camp missions, when magic is really almost mandatory to get through some of them. By the time I realized that Valor Form was actually hurting me more than it was helping, I had reverted to try to access magic, but by that point it was too little too late. I'm able to defeat a few more Heartless, grab some orbs, and that was all she wrote. Attempt 16 is even more humorous, as that end resulted because of brute force, or rather lack thereof, on my part. As usual, I defeated the Twilight Thorn, Axel 1 and 2, the Nobodies at Hollow Bastion, and by the time I got back to the boot camp missions at the Land of Dragons, I met my end by a huge, annoying Centaur Heartless. Something has to be said about Attempt 17, though. I spent loads of time looking at abilities, watching speedrunners, and really thinking about how I wanted to play this attempt. If I haven't said so before, grabbing the shield on the third day gives the player access to once more at level 25, and second chance at level 49, far sooner than if I were to grab one of the other two. After defeating the Twilight Thorn and Axel 1, I made it a serious point to grind it out as much as I felt was necessary, all the way to level 12. That's right, 12. I was not messing around. This was going to be the run, and I wanted to make sure of it. I took down Axel 2, the Nobodies at Hollow Bastion, Shan Yu, the Dancing Heartless, and Beast Castle, named my latest acquired gummy ship Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress number 1, and headed off for Olympus at the high level of 17. I escaped Hades' wrath, took down Cerberus, foiled Pete's very creepy kidnapping of Meg, got up on the Hydra's back, destroyed the Hydra, but not from its back. I destroyed it from the front because after all that screaming and yelling Phil gives you to get up on its back, it makes perfect sense to destroy the Hydra from the front. And made my way towards Disney Castle, where I safely escorted Queen Minnie to the Cornerstone and departed for Steamboat Willie's World, now public domain, where I creamed future Pete. I named my newly acquired gummy ships Feral Imp, Curse of Dragon, Thousand Dragon, and Gaia the Fierce Knight, and my newly acquired teeny ship I named Mirror Force. The fight against Barbossa can be tricky because if Captain Jack Sparrow dies, the fight automatically ends and takes you to the title screen, which in the case of a Nuzlocke means it's game over. Thankfully, I make it through unscathed, name my newly acquired gummy ships Dark Magician Girl and Red Eyes Black Dragon, and head towards Agrabah, brought to you by Robin Williams. Not Will Smith, even though he did an alright job, but there's just no replacing the original movie. And yeah, some of you in the comments might be like, but Brandon, Robin Williams never reprised his role for Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, and I would say we can get into semantics and all that stuff, but the point is, Robin Williams, the original movie, is better than the live-action remake. The live-action remake is, I would say it's one of the better of the live-action remakes, but it's still not very good. I take down the Agrabah Heartless and name my newly acquired gummy ships Dark Magician, Gaia the Dragon Champion, and Big Shield Gardna. After another flight, I named my newly acquired gummy ships Buster Blader, Total Defense Shogun, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Black Skull Dragon. By the way, I will not be stating the theme of my gummy ship naming because somebody in the comments will, but I will be stating something that is probably not obvious to anyone. The Highwind models suck, so I named them after the names of characters that cannot fly, suggesting I'm unable to use them at all. The Falcon models are amazing, so I named them after the names of characters that can fly. And the Invincible models are very high in defense, so I named them after characters that have high defense. Just a little fun fact. I do a bit of grinding through the late 20s and early 30s, defeating bosses like Oogie Boogie and the Nobodies at Twilight Town, while also struggling against the Heartless and the Pride Lands. But I still made it through the Gauntlet of the Light Cycle, which is a high run ender on critical mode. The Nobodies just before the Demyx fight ended one of my earlier attempts, so I entered the fight in limit form, spammed Sonic Blade to avoid getting recklessly thrown around by the dancers, and finished the fight off with a Trinity limit just for good measure. When I first played Kingdom Hearts 2 all the way back in 2006, I did so on beginner mode. At that time, I thought the Demyx fight was a joke. Well, on beginner mode he is, but on proud mode and critical mode he can be hard. I have died in this fight more times than I care to count, but if I can beat him on critical mode with a dance pad, then surely I can do it with the controller, right? Well, prior to entering the fight, I entered into Master Form and immediately used a drive recovery to bring the drive back up to 4, and then entered the fight with the option to summon or re-enter a drive form again later. While in Master Form, I spammed Reflect and Fire as they both do respectable damage against Demyx's hard-hitting attacks. The moment Master Form wore off, not wanting to take any unnecessary damage, I went for a Trinity limit to chip off more HP while still being immune to taking damage. When that ended, I immediately summoned Genie for the same effect, dealing free damage while taking very little damage myself. At this point, I was one combo away from finishing the fight, eliminating Demyx's entire existence, and moved on to the 1000 Heartless challenge. I also made use of the extra armor slot that I just got from defeating Demyx. I lost this fight on an earlier attempt because I thought I could safely grind out limit form, and that ended up costing me about 10 hours of streaming time. It just goes to show that no fight is truly a shoo-in during a Nuzlocke, as one simple mistake can cause your run to end immediately, uprooting all the work you put into that Nuzlocke attempt. Not wanting to waste any time, take any damage, or risk any deaths, I mashed the triangle button. And again, and again, and again. Finally, I finished them off, completing Hollow Bastion, and finally getting past the halfway point in the game. Next, I found myself fighting against Riku in the Land of Dragons, so I put off doing what I'm supposed to be doing as usual, so I can have a friendly spar against my islander friend. I take down the giant flying Heartless with a palette change from Kingdom Hearts 2 Vanilla, where I am rewarded with a Thunder upgrade. Next, at level 43, I square off against the boss Heartless in Port Royal, cursed, which really means protected, by the Aztec treasure, because it wouldn't be a Kingdom Hearts game without having a Disney twist to prevent mashing X to win, or mashing A to win if you only play Xbox and Nintendo games. Anyway, I solve the puzzle and take down the Heartless again, completing Port Royal and remembering this day as the day they almost captured Captain Jack Sparrow. At level 45, I sing a rap song causing Lock, Shock, and Barrel to contain themselves inside a box to shield their ears from my horrible singing. And later, at level 46, I take down Dr. Finkelstein's experiment after some Sherlock Holmes detective work. I used the same trick in this fight that I used in the Demyx fight, wherein I start off in Master Form, used a drive recovery, and then entered the fight. That way I could summon Peter Pan the moment Master Form wore off. At level 48, I square off against what should be the final boss of this run, as one Thanos snap of his finger would wipe me out of existence, for he is a genie, and is the most powerful being in the universe. I might as well call it quits here, because there's no way he's gonna lose to me. Huh. Well, that was anticlimactic. I head off to the Pride Lands after skipping it earlier, defeat the 3 hyenas, acquire second chance at level 49, equip it, and then help my boy Simba win a cat fight over a dispute involving a giant rock. After taking down the other cat, I come back again to the Pride Lands, defeat the 3 annoying hyenas, and then defeat the giant Harlash that should have been able to one-shot me simply just by stepping on me in the right area. But since he decided not to do that, I decided to kill him. Albeit it did take a long time, unnecessarily, because getting a combo finisher on this thing, where you have 2 forced combo pluses, isn't a shoo-in.
Where's the fun in this? Stop me!
There!
We're the face of despair!
Bet you didn't expect that, did you? Zaldin is always an exhilarating fight, so I figured I'd show you the entire battle. I take Slifer the Sky Dragon, my newest gummy ship, through the last space test and into Twilight Town, which I disembark in after naming my last acquired gummy ship Dragon Master Knight. I begin the denouement of this Nuzlocke by fighting along King Mickey at level 50 and take down the nobodies, after which I head for the castle that never was. In the realm between, I begin the first of many fights alongside Axel, now an anti-hero in the series, and take down a ton of nobodies before he sacrifices himself and opens a path for me to proceed. The next fight is probably one of the most unforgettable fights in the entire Kingdom Hearts series.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, it's over. Okay. Come on. Heal. Take that. Yeah. Take this. Yeah. Take that. Yeah. Let's go. Light. Take that. It's over. It's over. Let's go.
Scary high adrenaline and exhilarating at the same time, the climax is now behind us, but we are nowhere near out of the woods yet as Xigbar, aka Break, aka Broggy, aka Brain, aka Lushu is up next, and this fight wasn't anywhere near as crazy as the last one.
Clever little sneak! Heads up!
Yeah.
Reload!
It's over.
So what do you think? Reload!
Yeah. Ha. Back off.
Larxene!
Back off!
Let's see how you dance. Gotcha now! Clever little sneak! Let's see how you dance!
I'm dead. Oh my gosh. Wow, oh my goodness. Whew.
Yeah, you heard that right. Wow. That was way too closer than it needed to be. In hindsight, I'm not sure what was going on with summoning being disabled. Maybe that's just normal for later boss fights, but it's not something I would have noticed in a casual playthrough. But because of that, I ended up wasting 2 high potions on Donald and Goofy. Next up is Larxene, and this fight is always interesting, especially in a game where you're trying not to lose or die.
You know the rules?
Yeah, back off! This is it! Yeah! Kneel! Yeah! Take this!
Look closely. Look closely.
This is it! Yeah!
Look closely.
It's over! This is it! It's over! Yeah! This is it! Back off! Back off!
Look who's on top of the game. Scatter!
This is it! Yeah!
Whoa!
Kneel!
Oh my. I did it.
Light! Light! Play the game quite well.
That last part, where you have to select 4 circles, is always tricky. Glad I came out without much of a scratch. Next up is Syx, and this is much more of a straight up fight, which gives me the advantage.
It's over! Feel! Yeah! Back off!
No exit.
Yeah! It's over! Yeah! Back off! This is it! It's over! Give me strength! Power trip? This is it! Back off! Back off! Take that!
No exit.
Yeah! Back off! Take this!
Yes.
Following the fight against Syx, I take a page out of my playbook from the Chain of Memories Nuzlocke, where getting that last minute HP boost made the difference between failing the Nuzlocke and continuing. By the way, just something to point out here, Hades is immune to fire, so Donald decided to go full genius mode and use fire 10 times in a row. As a result, Hades laughed so hard he ended up taking damage anyway. I would also like to point out that my last attempt versus Xemnas on attempt 11, I was level 53, so I did a little bit of grinding to level 55 in hopes that this would be the level that would eventually get me past the end of this Nuzlocke.
Back off! Take this! This is it!
Come closer.
Yeah! Back off! It's over! Yeah! Yeah! It's over! Heal! Yeah! It's over! Yeah! It's over! It's over! This is it! Take this! Take this! This is it! Back off!
Come closer.
After defeating Xemnas the first time, Xemnas starts monologuing to Sora and says something along the lines of, "Why do you hate the darkness?" And Sora responds with something along the lines of, "Well, why do you dress like a rejected Final Fantasy villain?" Xemnas gets extremely offended and immediately goes complete beast mode on us, and we end up going into this battle. I'm fast forwarding quite a bit of it because there's just a lot of it, but let's just zoom into right here.
Take this! Give me strength! Power trip?
Oh, come on. Oh, crap. Always cutting that one close.
I'll take him. Time's up. Take this.
Anger and hate are supreme. We shall go together.
That's so unfair. Okay, I thought it was gonna switch characters for a second.
We shall go together. Why don't you
Take this. Heal. Okay.
Why don't you
This is it. Give me strength. This is it.
such things?
Wait, am I not gonna play as Riku? I think I won. Oh my goodness. You called it, Chris. This was the run. Oh. Seriously.
I'm out of words. I genuinely did not think I'd have completed this run this way. I mean, it had been so long since I finished a Nuzlocke, I was beginning to wonder if I could even pull this off. But here we are. This was an absolutely amazing run, and I had loads of fun. Stay tuned for the next video, and be sure to catch my weekly streams on Mondays from 8 to 9 p.m. or 10 to 11 p.m. on the East Coast in the US and Canada. Thank you so much for watching, and from one Nuzlocker to another, always, always, always remember to...